What's good, everybody? It's your boy Joby1, your favorite rap and black series collector and #1 hip-hop Jedi in the galaxy. Hope everybody's doing all right today. In today's video, I kind of want to expand on some of what I was talking about the other day. The question I asked you guys: what's the beef with the retro and vintage collection era collectors and modern collectors? Why is there this kind of dividing line and this hierarchy and this kind of thing going on? And so I kind of wanted to chat about that, man, and get some honest discussion going with you guys in the comments and kind of see how you felt about it. And maybe I'm off base with some of my takes, and if so, let's talk about it, man, because I've only been collecting since 2019. Y'all know I had a crazy childhood. I really didn't get a chance to collect stuff like that. So in a lot of ways, some of this stuff is new. Some of you guys have been in like message forums since dial-up days and all of that, you know, and we might be of similar age, being that I'm 41. And so I kind of just don't understand the disconnect, you know? So let's go ahead and get into it. I do want to acknowledge, I understand that, you know, there's a certain amount of collectability and desirability to say like, yo, I got the first 17 or the original Kenner entire line or etc. etc. I get that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to discount that. I'm talking about the ones that try to lord over the superiority or whatever, as if for some reason there's a, you know, like y'all are the captains and we're the lieutenants or something. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Okay, now, obviously, there are some virtues that I'm sure that most of the retro and vintage folks hang on to that are tied mostly to their childhood and collecting that. And guys, if this is true, let me know. And if it's not, that's fine too. But the layer that I'm kind of speaking towards has more to do with, like, you know, sometimes there seems to be like this tension between the folks that are really, really passionate about the retro and really passionate about, you know, 6-inch or modern lines. And for me, that would be like looking at the original Kenner stuff versus like modern Black Series and stuff like that. Or like even like Power of the Force and some of that stuff now that a lot of folks love, versus, you know, modern lines like the Black Series or Biggie right here. Now listen, this isn't meant to be some kind of a slight to the retro vintage purists out there. I have a lot of friends who collect in those lines and collect from times past exclusively and really don't get into a lot of the modern stuff, and it's okay. I'm not trying to dog that idea, right? The thing that kind of gets to me is that there is this level of like superiority on the part of some of the people who do collect those lines, and in particular certain content creators out there who see, you know, modern, you know, Black Series and other legends like Marvel Legends and other modern lines as like they're trash. You know what I mean? And that's just weird. And then some will even go further is to like treat those who collect these lines and some of these online spaces and Facebook and other places like they're like, you know, like we're bad or something. And that's just crazy. It's crazy for a lot of reasons. You know what I mean? There's so many reasons. But let's keep going. Part of me can't help but wonder if it has to do with like these movies. Like when the Disney Star Wars started coming out, a lot of the modern stuff. And like even this stuff like Rebels or like Ahsoka or Book of Boba Fett, like I can't help but wonder if some of that played a role in it, you know? There's a lot of folks I think are either stuck in times past, you know, they're trying to grasp onto like a simpler time or an easier time. And maybe I have a more unique perspective because that wasn't an easier or a simpler time necessarily for me as a kid. You know, so for me, you know, I'm just excited to be able to add, you know, some fun Star Wars to the shelf. It's attached to all the eras, so that part of it, you know, I kind of like. Picking up this set, for instance, was just, it touches on nostalgia, and you get modern, you know, articulation and all of these cool accessories. And folks will say, yeah, but it's not really worth the money. But man, to the folks who love it, it is. You know, and for the criticisms that you may have in terms of collecting it for your collection, it might be a problem. But for folks like me who love it, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity to fill a spot on the shelf and to gather some joy from that. So when people kind of take a I'm on the high road type mentality about collecting, it just kind of weirds me out, because really we're all in this together. You know, we all collect this stuff together. And so whether you're into like the Clone Wars, or, you know, whether you're into like the sequel trilogy or the video games, or like the original trilogy, or whatever it is you're into, the prequels, or any of it, it doesn't matter, man. It's all valid. And even though sometimes folks might get a little harsh in the comments, don't let that get you discouraged. You'll find your tribe. And also, there's a lot of fun communities out there, really good communities, and I'd love to shout them all out. But you guys know who you are, man, and you guys see me in your comment sections and stuff like that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening in. And look, man, at the end of the day, we're not taking any of this stuff with us, right? It's not, you know, I mean, we can get buried with it, I guess, or cremated with it, or whatever, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's temporary anyway. We're all here for just a little amount of time in the grand scheme of things. And so because of that, all of us should be allowed to enjoy the things that we like. And none of us that collect anything are really above anybody else, you know. And if you're privileged enough to be able to collect something like Hot Toys, or you know, you're collecting a lot of imports and stuff like that, cool. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's awesome. What's not awesome is if you think that that places you as like some type of a superior collector, especially if you can't fight. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. I don't like to fight, man. Not anymore. You know, I like to collect action figures, and that's why I'm even having this conversation. I don't want to sit here and hem and haw in the argument comment sections. I almost call it the argument section. Basically, that's what it is. But I don't want to sit here and go back and forth with people in the comment section, you know, about the virtues of collecting one thing or another, especially when it's all just for fun and it's only for a temporary amount of time anyway. So I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. Is your boy going crazy? Am I letting some things get to me maybe a little bit too much? Is it not that deep? Am I hitting the nail on the head? Is maybe there a little bit too much back and forth and too much animosity between people who collect this stuff? And even within the same line, boy, I be seeing some crazy people. And you know who you are in them groups, man, dropping them comments, hating on people and being kind of ridiculous. And I mean, I be laughing at you. It's funny, legitimately funny, but also you wild for that. But look, I'm gonna go on and get out of here, guys. I really appreciate you for joining me. If you're new around here, do consider hitting that like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Much love. May the force be with you. I'll holler at you later.
Yeah, eyes open before the alarm clock ringing. While I'm smoking, I'm deep inside of my thoughts racing. Swisher burns, the world turns, they hearts changing. Think they learn? Now come on, face it. Yeah, they disgrace us with the way that they make us try to be just like them, but they can't ever break us.